Good afternoon, and Abari Ghani. I'd like to welcome everybody to Citizens of Reality. My name is Toussaint McCastle, and I invite everybody to join in.
Today is Saturday, April 21st, and although we're not going to go into it, and perhaps we'll have that presented in a future date as far as the significance of our meeting last week, but at that time we made reference to a very, very dear brother to us that is mentioned in the introduction, who we dedicate this particular episode to, Njoma Yale Miller. In the same way that he came into the world, I want to celebrate my good brother here, who basically I feel like I've known since we were both in the womb. We're 15 days apart. I won't indicate our age, but it was this particular brother's incarnation date yesterday, years ago as well. And so it's a very, very highly spiritual, happy time to be able to be here together to celebrate with this very, very obviously, as you can see, very, very positive brother that has a lot of people that love him.
Thank you for joining in with us again. And very quickly, I want to mention that also that happened this month, the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's passing. We also lost Mama Winnie Mandela, who was the wife of Nelson Mandela. And we also lost Sister Linda Brown, who was significant to all of us in this room getting an education, because her family sued Topeka, Kansas Board of Education. I'd like to start now in Sacramento, California. Stephon Clark was shot at 20 times, and according to the coroner's report, he was hit 8 in his grandmother's backyard at home with a cell phone in his hand that they claimed was a gun. Why? Why can't we just live? How can we not be safe in our own backyards, literally?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting topic. I mean, obviously, I think the whole system is broke. It's been broke. It was always broke. It started off broke. It's based on white supremacy. I think Europeans are just definitely afraid of black men. So, in their police training, which I have a lot of experience in, definitely it's lacking. I mean, I made countless arrests, and I've never had to shoot anyone. So, in the past, so I don't know what's going on. I tend to think of it as, I think it's a video game mentality that's been born on with the white supremacy. I think they don't see the seriousness of killing, even on a more basic level.
I think you kind of hit it on the head, even on a deeper level from a video game perspective. But that same long-standing, what you call it, I would say socialization. You know, when you go back to the mentality that one has to have to enslave a group of people, and to be morally okay with it. In order for you to feel morally okay with profiting off the enslavement, deprivation of an entire race of people, you have to have a mentality that that person is not equal to you. And despite every effort and every generational period of time that has gone on since that time, there hasn't been enough effort to get rid of that.
Mm.
So just like in a like you said, a video game or a board game or any other type of game where you have rules,
Mm.
you have this built-in rule, or I would say even on a deeper level, just like there's this mindset that those things that were put into the Constitution, whether they be amended or not,
Mm.
that those concrete things have such a strong basis in America that while they may have been adapted, we're not going to let them go. So being that slavery was a part of that Constitution, or part of that foundational base,
Mm.
despite the amendment that, or the Emancipation Proclamation, despite that, the fact that slavery was okay in the Constitution, to a certain level, that same mentality sublimely lives on today.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention, because we were considered less than, our ancestors were hunted for sport.
Well, yeah, I mean, the dehumanization of black people is pretty much the history of Caucasians. That's their mindset.
From having the experience of being in other parts of the world,
Mm-hmm.
that I would have to say that is an undeniable difference
Mm.
in the way that people of color are treated in America versus any place else in the world. Now people of color are discriminated against every place,
Yeah,
but I mean this phenomenon.
South America.
But I'm saying if we just go to what we talk about as far as just being shot for living, there's not too many other places where we get to this degree.
Maybe not today, in Brazil, which is most of the people there have African ancestry.
But to Brazil and places like that, to me, the phenomenon seems to be more economic, because you got a lot of brown people with money that's shooting a lot of brown people that's poor.
They separate they separate themselves though. They separate the ones that are more European are held in higher esteem. I've been to Colombia. There's a huge black population in Colombia that is totally like not seen by the public almost. It's almost like they don't exist. And in Brazil, to a certain degree, they do it too. Although Brazil is I mean, the white supremacy is pervasive. I haven't been all around the world like you would, but I mean, I've been in most of the New World.
Yeah.
And in the New World, I see it in every culture, even in Jamaica.
Oh, absolutely.
To a certain degree. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
Even in Puerto Rico, or
it's gonna happen every place.
The St. Martin Islands, everywhere you go is Dominican Republic. I mean, that's crazy. You got Haiti and Dominican Republic, same island. Basically, it's separated by color.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
they still do that here. Like, you've been to Florida.
Right.
Especially in Miami. If you Haitian, you get treated like a dog in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But if you Dominican, you the flavor of the month.
Absolutely.
But, even here, a young brother trying to get to school,
mm-hmm.
he missed his bus. Young brother named Brennan Walker,
mm-hmm.
14 years old. He stopped at a guy who's technically his neighbor. He stopped at a neighbor's house because he couldn't figure out the path the bus went, because the bus never goes straight down the main street, straight to the main street to his school. It zigzags. So he asked for directions out in Rochester Hills, Michigan. I mean, no, not Rochester Hills, Rochester, Michigan.
Yeah.
The wife got irate and basically said something to the effect, it's another one of those.
He didn't even get a chance to ask for directions.
No.
Pretty much.
Oh, it's another one of them at our door. And he just came down with the shotgun and started firing off the shotty for no reason.
It was terrible.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but you have celebrities. They talk about it. It happened in my family. I don't know if it happened. Pretty sure it happened in yours. But that conversation where not only my mother and father, but my grandfather, grandmother, sat me down and said, look, there's certain things that you're gonna have to do because you are a black male in America. Like you can't walk down the street a certain way. You can't be seen outside of a stranger's home. You can't be seen in these particular neighborhoods or these particular areas, you know. And if you are, if there's something that you have to do where you are in those areas, then this is how you got to carry yourself and the demeanor you have to have. And if you approach and you talk to by somebody, then this is the method and the manner in which you have to respond. So it's sad. It's sad.
But it's absolute. Any young black male and any young black woman nowadays, because we've had way too many instances where sisters are getting abused and beat down. You sent me that video yesterday. Or my brother put a video on Facebook where a sister, the officers walked up to her, and she had on headphones so they couldn't hear her. So she couldn't she couldn't hear the police. They just snatched her up because she didn't respond to their commands, but she didn't hear them.
Well, the interesting thing is that it was different time periods, and I'm sure this phenomenon goes on today. But all of us have had the unique experience of at different time periods all attending Michigan State University and being a student at Michigan State University at some point in time or another while being on campus, being confronted by campus police asking you to verify your legitimacy for being on campus. Despite the fact that you got a backpack full of books, a sweatshirt on with Michigan State University, a hat, and every other possible identifier. And don't let it be a situation where 3, 4, 5 of you happen to be together.
Well, white woman been raped in the last week or so.
Oh yeah.
Say day one of Michigan State, just won the Rose Bowl. You know, everybody was running around doing like this. I did like this, and it was a truck full of our Caucasian brothers riding in a pickup truck, and I did like this to them. They assumed that I gave them the other finger.
Okay.
They turned around and was like, "What did you do?" I said, "We number one. We just won the Rose Bowl." Oh, okay.
Well, that's
Then they pulled off and said, "Stupid nigga."
Let's see. We had the experience of being up there during the different Rose Bowl time period where they literally tore East Lansing up, and it was amazing to me that I didn't see anything on the news. I didn't see anything about a riot or
party gets out of hand.
Yeah,
it was on the news in Detroit.
But it was.
They showed Spartan Village
I'm
with
sure
the car
it wasn't the
flippers
same.
down on
I'm
fire.
sure, but it wasn't like it was like Cliff said. It was presented as a party out of hand versus
Oh, absolutely.
students going like a riot, like a
Oh no, it wasn't a riot at all.
Nobody was arrested.
It was MSU proves their reputation. Party school goes wild.
Wow.
Things are safer when they lose. We also have Rashawn Nielsen and Dante Robinson. Those two brothers in Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, Starbucks history is they're notoriously have a history of fostering white supremacy. So that's all I got to say about it.
I mean,
Check their history. Check who owns it. check all that stuff out.
It's just that assumption that's made that you someplace that you're not supposed to be. And again, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Watching to pay $4 for a cup of coffee too, and to think that you got to do that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for the brothers, but I think that we all have experienced that. I think to some degree.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, getting followed around by the security.
Yeah. I actually I think maybe about $7 or so. I think for the class action suit against Denny's because of an incident. Me and my girlfriend at the time, me, Melanie, and Joma, when he was going out with Donnie, we had gone to Denny's when they had a Denny's on Woodward.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And right in Royal Oak.
Oh, I know where that one used to be.
Yeah, exactly. So we went up to that Denny's.
Okay.
And we get up in there, we sitting down. And they just was like,
They were,
like, we're not serving you. We like, okay, it was a little crowded, but we're like, okay, we give them benefit of the doubt, and then like a couple other, people of the lighter hue came up in there and immediately got served. Like, well, hey, wait a minute, and then it was attitude. We got attitude for just questioning why it was that we had been sitting for about 30 minutes and no one came to ask us what we wanted. And two other people came in immediately, not seconds, like minutes after, and got service, So, so they got contacted.
hopefully they get a lot of money from Starbucks. So I hope the brothers hit the lotto. They just hit the lotto.
Not only Starbucks, but the mayor came out and issued a public apology.
Yeah,
the same police chief that said my officers did nothing wrong
later
recanted and retracted and said we apologize because they weren't read their rights.
I mean, that's the power of.
Well, you don't have to read someone their rights unless you're going to question them.
But my question is,
give them their rights if you're going to actually put cuffs on them.
Couldn't they just be asked to leave
the role is,
if it was a problem?
If someone arrests you, they should tell you why you're being arrested. But they don't have to. They don't have to read. Why would they read you your rights if they're not going to interview you?
But they didn't. They didn't say they were arrested. They just handcuffed them and said you have to leave and escorted them out.
But they took them to the police station.
Well, I
and
think
they were
yeah,
there.
there's
They
an
were held there for 8 hours.
There's an assumption if you get cuffs on you that you're being arrested.
Exactly.
So,
but you can't leave. Like, I mean, if
right,
I'm not arrested, right? But
that's what I'm saying. They were arrested. They were not. They were arrested. Which there may be I'm not saying that. I mean, that's the way I was taught how the Mirandas are given out. You don't have to, if you're not going to interview them, you don't have to give them Mirandas. Because what's the point of giving them Mirandas for if you're not going to interview them?
Yeah, I can see that.
You understand? Because
So
the whole idea of Mirandas,
we're just going to take you down. We're going to take you down because it's within our legal right to do it. And we're just going to inconvenience you by holding you for 8 hours. And we're not going to Mirandize you.
But false arrest is another issue. I mean, if they didn't charge them.
They didn't charge them.
They didn't charge them.
The guys didn't resist, as everybody saw on the film, the footage.
They didn't. So it is. They may have a good case for false arrest, and I'm sure that Philly will probably settle with them because they don't want to just with the media and whatever.
Yeah.
He got tried in the court of public opinion already.
Absolutely. So,
and Starbucks in the city of Philadelphia, you
which
both
has
guilty.
a history of white supremacy. I mean, all we have to do is go back to when Move was bombed.
When Philadelphia was first became Philadelphia.
Well, even that. But but I'm talking about in our lifetime, Move, they bombed Move.
Yeah, they showed it on TV too.
It's insane.
That was incredible. They showed it. They showed it live. That's the thing that was incredible.
Wilson Be Good, her brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, but come on now.
That was amazing, though. They bombed it.
Yeah, they bombed it.
It
showed it on primetime TV.
It showed on China. It was on Ted Koppel or whatever. One of them.
And
they were in a helicopter. It was a box bomb. They were in a helicopter and they
killed how many people?
They were in a so-called abandoned building.
Right.
And they just dropped it on.
And the whole thing they were charged them with was vagrancy.
Yeah.
And playing loud music, noise violations.
Yeah.
So.
They bombed them on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for those Netflix subscribers, got sad news. They did go ahead and cancel that show, 7 Seconds.
I'm not familiar with this.
Me neither.
7 Seconds, I forgot which city it takes place, but it's the story starring Regina King where like a adolescent young black male got shot by the police. And the whole story revolves around what's going on with the family and the community.
Oh.
And that.
Not surprising.
And I'm not sure if anybody's seen that it started off just as a meme, but then the meme grew a life unto itself, talking about tilapia fish.
What about it?
See, that's the thing. Now, I heard that it is a man-made fish. Anybody on
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. But,
Is
but
it?
it's
I mean, we have been eating tilapia before it got public, and I mean not public, but before it got popular, like way back in '90, and
Yeah.
even before then.
Mm.
But they claiming it's a man-made fish that was made recently.
the only thing that I can think of why they might be saying that is that the reason why I became familiarized with tilapia was because of Joma. And Joma became familiar with it when he was, I don't know if it was in the continent or where he
It was in the continent.
And so I can see the possibility as far as why those individuals that sell cod, that sell North Atlantic
Mhm.
fish would want to propagate tilapia being
Well, they were
man-made.
saying it was this thing. They say that you can't overcook it. It's like
Well,
the fish it's not in the wild. Tilapia is farm raised, and I'm just saying what
you've heard.
What I've heard.
Yeah. You see, that's
And,
where
the thing
and then I
is-
was told that it was never in the continent. It was never eaten by the people that live in the continent. It's a fish that was farm raised. Basically, they took a fish that was in Africa, and they like, dang, this fish is like almost indestructible, like African bees, killer bees. And they said it propagates. It can't be hardly killed. They were saying it's like it can be in any water, like it can be in the dirtiest water
Now,
possible.
see, now well, I would see that now that carp, those Asian carps that have invaded the Great Lakes.
Oh, I know.
Now,
But yeah.
now I would agree that those. I would
I
agree
think
that those would be
it's-
some.
and probably that's why.
sometimes,
But the thing
you know.
is,
That's why too, yeah.
that's why. But tilapia isn't a fish. Tilapia is the name of a family of fish
Right.
that comprise tilapia. That's just like saying bass. There's so
Yeah.
many different bass.
So what tilapia are we eating? Because when you eat bass, you eat white bass, sea bass, big mouth bass.
Right, but the thing is,
Smallmouth
with
bass.
tilapia, they gave all these real similar fish that name of tilapia, so as not to have to break down all these different types of fish together. But the problem was they were claiming it's a boneless, skinless fish, but they showed a picture of a fish with skin, scales, and fins.
Yeah, I've seen actual tilapia that was not, unprocessed. So
Right. So the thing is, if it's a manufactured fish and it's boneless and skinless, how do you have a picture of a fish with fins and with gills and with scales and all of that
I
stuff?
think boneless and skinless.
It sounds like you're talking about a chicken, but that's what the whole meme was that started this whole debate about tilapia. And the
Mhm.
thing is, no, you can't overcook it because it is a leaner fish. It doesn't have really that many omega-3s or omega-9s. But it, like the catfish, is high in omega-6.
Okay, so if you can't overcook it, that's a deep concept with me.
But that's
But that's a whole.
the same thing like you take a flank steak. Or you take any other thinly sheared steak or piece of chicken or piece of lamb. You can't cook that like you would a 18-ounce T-bone.
Yeah, but you can overcook it.
You can overcook those.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's a topic that I would like to
study more.
study more before giving a click, because I've heard different views on it
Yeah.
from people that are into health that have told me that tilapia is a fake fish, and then I've heard from, when I respect your opinions definitely about.
No, I can show you the articles, but we'll talk
Yeah.
about it. We'll go
But
back to that
so I
at
don't
another
know.
time.
I don't really know. I can't give an educated opinion on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had tilapia before,
Yeah.
but I really can't give an honest opinion on it. I'm a whiting person. I eat my whiting and my salmon and snapper. I try to do ocean fish mostly. And I don't know, tilapia is more of a lake fish, if to my understanding, isn't it?
Now that I'm not sure. I do believe it is a smaller body of water fish. Though.
Right. So I try to do ocean fish, but you know, I'm if people like tilapia, it ain't killing nobody. I mean, I ain't gonna.
Right. We haven't died from catfish, and we
Right.
know catfish eats
Absolutely.
all the garbage
Still
at the
be
bottom of
big,
the ocean.
So, you know, and shrimp, and I still have a tendency to have a piece of shrimp or scallop every now and then. And
Right.
that's a scavenger too. So.
Absolutely.
Roaches of the sea.
Roaches
Yeah.
in the sea. I mean, I went years without eating either one of them, but you know, every now and then I want me a little seafood. I can't have it no more.
Whether it's people say it's unfortunate, I look at it as a benefit. As far as if I eat shrimp, I'm done.
I hear you.
Me too.
I'm done.
That's how my kids are all like that. They can't eat seafood.
Back in the day when I grew my locks, I actually took heed and took full heart to the Nazarene covenant in the Old Testament.
Yeah, see.
So I stopped eating bottom feeders. You know, I tried to avoid death as much as possible. I actually followed it to the letter as much as I could in this society.
See.
But on my birthday, I think it was my 36th birthday or something like that. It's my birthday. I can eat whatever I want. I'm going to have some shrimp. No, I hadn't had shrimp in about 12 years.
Yeah.
And
my immune system had changed.
My hands, my feet, felt like my head looked like Tommy Hearn's Boxing Martin.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it would be with my throat. I would just first time I was about 3 years old, they went to like Dinettas or whatever, M&M's, went to M&M. They got that batter dip shrimp, and I like the treaches.
Oh, yeah.
I like that batter dip fish. So they said, "Oh, this M&M shrimp is even better." So I couldn't wait. Bit into that thing, and it was like, felt like I had been on the, spinning wheel.
Oh my God.
And one of them merry-go-round type, the ones on the playground where you can put in your own speed. So I was dizzy as hell, got sick, threw up. But I couldn't tell my parents at 3 years old, that it was the shrimp. They thought I had played too much, whatever. But I knew that, and from that time, I knew that I didn't want to eat any more of that. And as I got older, I could eat I could eat like shrimp fried rice, but I could never eat shrimp, just the big shrimp. But like went years. The last time I had some shrimp fried rice was prom. We went to we had gone to took our dates to we went to
that nice restaurant.
we went to the Regis, the St. Regis Hotel, St. Regis hookup, and I got the filet mignon. I forgot what the net got, but got the filet mignon, got the lobster bisque, and I got something that had some shrimp, and I was okay, I was good, but that was the last time, and then I got my early 30s, and my aunt made some homemade like shrimp fried rice with a little bitty baby shrimp, and I would take the shrimp out, but I took the shrimp out and tried to eat the rice, and stuff swole up, throat started closing up. Was like, nah, I can't even come in contact with this anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm the same way with pork. I went to a barbecue at somebody's house, and they we cooked the chicken separate because we knew you couldn't have it anywhere near the ribs and stuff. I was like, wonderful, thank you. They forgot that they dipped it all in the same barbecue sauce, which was the same as putting it on the same grill. Actually, a little bit worse because you got the fresh juices from the swine and the barbecue sauce. Made me sick. That was it. That was when Squirt went to Belle Isle. Squirt invited everybody to a big thing at Belle Isle. I want to say back in like '98 or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, when it's school, I know we usually go to that thing every year.
I think this was something his family
It was his
gave or
family.
something.
It was his father, his father's and his father's friends, his mother and father's friends. So he tried. He was like, "Where is that coming from?" Yeah. Okay.
And we got good news. It's not all bad. J. Cole dropped a new album that's hot as ever.
J. Cole's a good album.
And talking about good albums, Damn won a Pulitzer.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's nice. You know.
Yeah, that's a good album. That's a great album. Both of them are great albums. They
Oh,
two
absolutely.
of my favorite artists, young artists. Two of my favorite.
I don't know what happened with the rest of the new school, but them two young brothers, they put their foot down.
It's another brother. I gave you his name. What's his name? Kevin.
Gates.
Kevin Gates. He's good also. He's excellent. So
Yeah, it's good to see that there are people that are still trying to say something.
mm-hmm. That's hip hop. That's where it came from. It's like we were just talking about that. I mean, like when the Wu-Tang would drop something, it was so deep, it was on a whole nother level. You had to listen to it about 30 times before you got the full concept. They were talking about metaphysics and nuclear physics and cell structures biophysics, and it was on a whole nother level. And it's like a lot of people didn't get it. And it's like I think the kids nowadays they missing that. But you're right. There are a few artists. I'm sure there's some. Because my kids always tell me, "Dad, you ain't heard this beat? They pretty good too." So there's probably some other ones.
It's always some more that don't get the notoriety that other people have got.
The thing that I would question as far as with that though is that I don't know if the generation that's on par with the current artists of today, as far as being age and intellectual equals, so to speak, but at the same time, our age and intellectual equals were, like you said, it was Wu-Tang to a certain degree, but even before that, X-Clan,
Nas,
KRS-One, Public Enemy, and so the thing with me is that
Dead Friends.
My question was,
and then it was some underground that was even deeper than them. It was a whole nother level of underground.
There's always
the Damager,
right?
King Son. Wow.
Even Kumo D would get deep on you.
Poor Righteous Teacher.
Absolutely. Poor Righteous
Teacher. Leaders of the new school. But the question would be is that like with Wu-Tang, for example, Wu-Tang, X-Clan, Public Enemy, there were things that were said that would make you go back and say, wow, I need to go look that up. I need to go look that up and see. I need to go see what that's about. And so my thing is that happening today? Is there anything that an artist is putting out today that somebody listening to it would say, I need to go pick up a book. I need to go pick up a book, or I need to go to Google, or I need to do something because I need to find out what he's talking about or what she's talking about here.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think
technology is crippled
society as a whole.
And even that going back to one of the things we talked about as far as when we living the experience of seeing the evolution of hip hop, aka rap, seeing the evolution of it and having our elders talk about Gil Scott-Heron and who was the group?
Last Poets.
Watts Prophets.
Watts Prophets. And then on the other side, we could talk about Rudy Ray Moore. We could talk about Nipsey Russell, to a certain degree, Red Fox. We could talk about, and even going back even further, we could just talk about the whole ideology and whole purpose of a griot. Okay, and in all those cases, how there was a story being told. Even with Rudy Ray Moore, the signifying signifying monkey. There was a story that was being told, and so you don't hear that anymore. You don't hear a story. You don't get a story being told. But like we were talking about okay, so you had Grandmaster Flash, Eric B. Rakim, Nas,
Big L.
Stories,
Yeah.
Slick Rick,
Yeah.
Furious 5,
Schoolie D.
Treacherous 3.
Schoolie D.
Schoolie D,
Oh, yeah, you had Schoolie D, MC Shan.
MC Shan, KRS-One,
Yep. The bridge is over.
Stories.
Yep. Slick Rick. Master storyteller.
Yeah, master storyteller there.
All he did was tell stories, and
What
he
was that?
told Slick
Slick
Rick.
Rick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Dana Dane.
Oh yeah,
We had some storytellers back in our day.
yeah.
Kept you all tied up and wound up.
Even early Ice-T.
Yeah, Ice-T.
Yeah,
Ice
but he
Cube.
kinda-
Right, a nice little
Ice
story.
Cube was excellent. But what do you think? Ice-T kind of stole a lot of his stuff from Schoolie D, though.
You think so?
Yeah. He
I
even
mean,
made
6 in the morning will always be
6 in the morning.
classic.
But Schoolie D did it first.
Did he?
I think Schoolie D did. Just
He did the hookup. He did that hookup. That
6 in the morning.
No, he didn't do 6. He did that song. Looking at my Gucci. It's about that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He did.
But 6 in the morning is all Ice-T.
Yeah.
And everybody's
6 in the
remade
morning, what was
Ice-T.
that, Mondo? Fresh to these.
Snoop, your boy
Yeah.
Jigga, everybody.
Yeah, I'm a Q fan.
Yeah.
I was never a big Ice-T fan, except when he had his woman on his album cover.
Oh, Darla.
She's still nice.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still nice too.
Looks the same.
Dang.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh my goodness.
It's a few women out there from back in the day who aged well. Heard your girl Sade. You know, it's some women who aged incredibly, like time just stood still.
I know, but they can get a little older. At least when they still look good to me.
Yeah. Like fine wine.
That's what's the next topic?
Well,
We just gonna.
right now we're going to thank everybody for coming out. My name is Toussaint McCastle. Everybody, if you will, introduce yourselves.
DJ Videography.